Do you ever feel like your brain just won't stop? A simple conversation becomes an hour of analysis. A text message becomes a mystery. A small mistake becomes proof that something is wrong with you. You tell yourself to stop thinking, but somehow you keep going, again and again and again. You replay situations, you imagine possibilities, you analyze details that most people forgot minutes ago, and eventually you feel exhausted, not because life is difficult, but because your mind never stops working. If you overthink every little thing, there is a reason, and it's probably not what you think. What overthinking really is. Most people think overthinking is simply thinking too much, but that's not quite true. Overthinking isn't intelligence, it's not curiosity, it's not deep reflection. Overthinking happens when thinking stops being useful. You continue searching for answers, even after there are no answers left to find. You continue analyzing, even when analysis no longer helps. At some point, thinking becomes a loop, and the loop becomes exhausting. Why small things feel big. One of the strangest parts of overthinking is how small situations become huge. A delayed reply, a strange look, a short conversation. Most people move on, but your brain doesn't. It keeps pulling the situation back into focus, again and again, as if there is something important hidden inside it, as if the answer is just one more thought away. The search for certainty. At its core, overthinking is often a search for certainty. Your brain wants guarantees. It wants complete understanding. It wants to eliminate doubt. The problem is that life doesn't work that way. Most situations contain uncertainty. Most conversations contain ambiguity. Most people are impossible to fully understand. And yet, your mind keeps trying. Why your brain thinks it's helping. This is important. Your brain is not trying to hurt you. It genuinely believes it is helping. Every thought feels productive. Every analysis feels useful. Every replay feels necessary. Your brain believes, if I think about this enough, I'll finally solve it. But often, there is nothing to solve. A social overthinking. One of the most common forms of overthinking involves people. You replay conversations. You analyze reactions. You question what you said. You wonder how you sounded. And long after the conversation ended, your brain is still there, trying to understand, trying to improve, trying to prevent future mistakes. The fear beneath overthinking. Most overthinking is not actually about the situation itself. It's about what the situation might mean. What if they don't like me? What if I embarrassed myself? What if I made a mistake? What if something goes wrong? These deeper fears create fuel, and overthinking burns that fuel continuously. Mental exhaustion. Eventually, constant analysis becomes exhausting. Your attention becomes fragmented. Your energy decreases. Simple decisions become difficult. You start feeling mentally tired all the time, not because your life is difficult, but because your mind never rests. Why logic doesn't stop it. Many people try to fight overthinking with logic. They tell themselves, stop worrying. You're overreacting. You're thinking too much. But overthinking isn't a logic problem. It's usually an emotional one, because underneath the thoughts, there is uncertainty, fear, discomfort, and your brain keeps thinking because it wants relief. What actually helps? One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to force their thoughts to stop. The harder you fight them, the more attention you give them. Instead of asking, "How do I stop thinking?" try asking, "Why does this feel so important?" That question often reveals much more. Another important shift is learning to tolerate uncertainty, because certainty is what your brain wants, but uncertainty is what life gives. You don't need to answer every question. You don't need to solve every possibility. You don't need to prepare for every outcome. Sometimes, the healthiest response is allowing uncertainty to exist. Notice when your brain starts creating loops. Notice when you're replaying instead of learning. Notice when you're searching for answers that don't exist. Awareness doesn't stop overthinking immediately, but it weakens its grip. Because once you see the loop, you stop mistaking it for progress. If you overthink every little thing, it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're weak. And it doesn't mean you're destined to stay this way forever. It means your mind learned to search for safety through thinking. But not everything can be solved with more thought. Some things become easier when you stop trying to solve them, and slowly, your mind can learn that too. If this felt familiar, you're probably not the only one carrying thoughts like these. And if you want to understand your mind a little better each week, there's more here waiting for you.